Hi everybody, it's Jamie. Welcome back. I know I haven't had a video in a while. Just quickly, I'm doing a 6x12 layout today of my dog Leo sleeping with his toy, and I'm going to be using the recent haul that I got from Kitaholic Kits here in Australia. I was so excited to get into this. This is the first layout that I had made with it, so there was just so many choices. If you've ever gotten a kit before, you know that the first layout's always one of the hardest things to do. So I grabbed out a few supplies that I thought I could use, and this right here is this was the Project Life kit that I just chucked in a few extra supplies from, but 98% of this layout is using stuff from that haul. So if you want to see what the supplies are, just go to that haul and it will tell you. So sorry I haven't had a video in a while. I've been very, very busy. I've been on my very last prac for my teaching degree, so I'm very, very close to the end now. Very excited, but let's get to the layout. You guys want to hear about the layout. So this is a photo of my dog, like I said, Leo. He's sleeping with his toy. He's not a very cuddly dog. You know, he'll sit with you for 5 minutes in the morning, but he likes his own space. He's a bit like his mummy. He likes his own space. But I thought that I would do a strip, which is why I got that washi out. But then I decided against it because I thought it would be a good idea to use these two gorgeous Nuvo mousses because they were stunning. They're already starting to go a little bit dry. I'm not sure if that's how they're made or if that because these kits are from about a year ago that maybe they have just dried out. They're still working fine. They are water soluble, so I just added a little bit of water to it and it worked perfectly fine. I was going to use that Dylusions ink you can see in the top corner. I think it's called Laid Back Lilac. It's my favorite one. But I thought, you know what, let's stick to this goal of using only stuff from the kits. And because he is sleeping in this photo, I grab out this new green texture paste, and I grab out a starry stencil because I sort of identify stars with sleeping. So I thought that would be a good way to do it. I got this chipboard word that came with the kit, and I thought it'd be cool to sort of do it on the side. I like to try and do titles on the side because I think it gives it some interest throughout your album, but alas, it doesn't end up staying on the side. So I just grab my star stencil, my palette knife, and I scrape it through. Just to let you know, I have sped up this video 2 times, so I'm not doing it this fast. I'm doing it a lot slower, being very careful to make sure the stencil doesn't lift up while I'm putting it through. That was one thing when I used to watch videos of people doing stenciling. I thought they were doing it that fast and that I had to do it that fast, but I've realized through practice that you do have to go slowly to make sure you get those crisp images. If you're not wanting a crisp image with using modeling paste at a stencil, then you can go fast. But if you want it to be crisp, you want to go slowly. So I've just grabbed a baby wipe here to clean off the stencil. This stuff you need to clean straight away. I have noticed that it stains. It is water soluble, so it did come off quite easy, but just with reference to using other modeling paste, get that stuff off straight away because it will ruin your stencil. So after I clean it off, I do just put this off to the side and kind of let it air dry. I do like to let things air dry. I find they don't warp as much. And luckily with this, it actually dried relatively quickly. I think within maybe 5 minutes it was perfectly dry. And in that time of it drying, just using my sleeves there to clean my surface, probably not the best idea, but it's what I had on with me. So I'm going to use my layering for the photo. And because it's the green layout, I figured let's go down the green train and use all green. Now, luckily for me, all the papers in this kit, I actually had the 6x8 paper pad anyway that I had bought about a year ago. So that was really lucky. I could sort of stick with the kit by using the supply I already had that the kit was based off of. So this is the, I think it's the Beautiful collection from Simple Stories, and they just have some really nice soft minty greens, and I'm not a big fan of green. If you go through all of my videos, you will find it very tough to find green anywhere. I do sort of do green in my Project Life sometimes because a lot of my Project Life photos are all outside, you know, and there's green outside, but I don't do green layouts. I don't like them. And I thought I would try my hardest to do green in this one because it's a black and white photo. And I thought, you know, you can do the color that you want. And because this is a kit, everything coordinates. So it was a lot easier to do green. And I think that's something I'm going to try to keep doing with these kits is that, you know, using the color that I'm not used to using because it's already going to coordinate. I think the problem I have with using green and using blue is that I don't normally have coordinating colors, so they don't work as well together. Anyway, I'm just layering here. I'm using some papers from the 6x8 paper pad. Like I said, this didn't come in the kit. I did already have this myself. I'm also going to do a little bit of layering. I just used some white tissue paper just to sort of give a softer element because it is a metallic paste. And then it's also a very dark photo with some very dark black layers. I wanted a softer element to sort of make the page feel a little bit less, you know, angry. Angry is not the right word. A little bit less harsh because it's a little photo of a little doggy who's sleeping. You know, it's not a tough photo. It's a cute photo. So I wanted it to be a little bit softer. Now this tissue paper, for the lack of a better word, is horrible. I don't like it. It doesn't stick to double-sided tape, but I don't want to waste it, so I'm just trying to use it as best as I can. Again, I'm just using the double-sided tape, sticking that all down, and then I do use some glue, wet glue that is, to stick it down to my background. Like I said in every video that has mixed media, wet glue is always the way to go when you're using mixed media. I had a lot of trouble with my wet glue, and I think I had to cut out about 5 minutes of the video because my wet glue got jammed. I'm just sort of positioning it here, figuring it out, because although I did position it before I did the mixed media, I wasn't entirely sure you know, how it was going to look, because at this point I was still going, you know, it's not too late to change. You can do pink, you can use the pink mousse, like it's going to take you 2 seconds. You still got that other half of the 12x12 cardstock that you can use, and this could be used for something else, but I just thought, let's stick with it, you know, get through it. You can do it, and I actually really like how this layout turned out. I actually think it is stunning. I think I like it though because it is a 6x12 and it's more of a condensed layout and it's not so overwhelming with the green. So there we go. I've checked it and it's dry, and I was so surprised. Here's my glue. I'm trying to use a pin to clean it out, and it didn't work. So I do end up just taking the lid off and using it, but this was after about 5 minutes of trying to clear it off. I have now since fixed it, and you'll probably see that in an upcoming video how I've fixed it. I need to buy some new glue, some better glue. This isn't the greatest glue to use. It works for me and it sticks, but I do think it's not I think it's going to come off in a few years, which is fine. A lot of these layouts aren't very, you know, meaningful layouts with stories. They're just, you know, a cute little photo of a puppy sleeping. It's nothing important, so I don't mind as much. I decided to paint this word dream, and I do grab up my gesso, and it is completely hard. So as you can see, that went straight in the bin, so I need to buy some more gesso. So then I grab out this white paint, which is very, very runny, and I kind of use this as like a base layer because I wanted to make the paint stick on top, but it didn't really work as well. So I did decide to do a black coat, but it's sort of more of a very, very dark grey, almost charcoal colour in real life. I think it looks really cool actually. So basically how I did that was I just used my paintbrush and I did put the black on as the white was still a little bit wet still, and I'm just using that baby wipe to clean off my brush. I do go clean it later. This is all water soluble paint, so it's perfectly fine. And I did actually, as you can see, I'm using a 12x12 Ziploc bag that one of the kids came in to paint because I didn't want to make my desk dirty and I didn't want to get my mat out. I just used that and it worked, and I just cleaned it off and it was perfectly fine. So that's a good tip for you if you want to figure out how you can reuse everything in a kit. You know, you can use it as a paint set. So I'm going through the little ephemera pack that came with the kit. This is very obviously Project Life ephemera, but I thought it would fit with this layout because this is obviously a 6x12. It's a lot smaller. I don't need as big a pieces. So I did grab out an epoxy sticker to cover that word. And then this is a little, I'm not sure what you call these. I call them florals, but they're not florals. I don't even know what they're called. Maybe a halo or something. I don't know what that's called. If you can tell me what those circle pieces are called, I do really love using them. I like cutting them in half instead of having them half sticking out of the top. I think it gives them interest. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a cluster in that I'm actually doing a cluster in the right-hand corner, the lower right-hand corner of the photo. Wow, that took me a long time looking back at videos. It's hard to remember what you actually did. So I'm going through that right-hand corner, even though I do have the things on to the left at the moment, and then I do also do a little bit on the left-hand side as well, kind of like a 3 element. That's sort of something that a lot of scrapbookers do, the rule of 3. I don't always do it. I do think it's quite appealing, and it's something that I default back to when I'm not sure of what I'm doing. I did decide to make a lot of the embellishments that I used black and white or grey, because I wasn't sure of how to make it work, and I did think it sort of accented the photo, because you know that the green stars, they're the background, you know, they're not meant to be the main focus, they're the background. So I'm just sticking down the word dream. I'm going to stick it on the photo. I really like doing that when you've got a lot of open space on photos, because I think it sort of makes it all connect. The problem I have with layouts when they have titles is when they feel like they're just an afterthought, and for some reason, for me, I think if you put it on top of your photo, it sort of feels like it's meant to be there. It's a part of the layout. So I'm just sticking that there, and for me, perfectly. It fit awesome, and I really like how it looks. It's still a little bit damp here. It was dry, but for some reason it felt quite sticky, but it's fine. So I'm just sticking down that little, again, I'm going to call it a floral halo up the top, sticking that down, and then I start to just sort of go really, really overboard with all the little sprinkles. I just grab anything and I'm sticking it down, sticking down little stars, grey stars. I grab out my wood veneer, I grab out these little stars here. I go a little bit star crazy because I don't use stars that often. The only other time that I use stars is Christmas, and as you guys know, it's May, so there's still a long time before Christmas, and I don't really want to keep these waiting around. I grab out some of the tiny word stickers as well, and I'm also going to use this little heart. I do end up sticking it down. And yeah, I just go around sprinkling embellishments everywhere. This was really fun to do this layout, to test myself, and then I grab up my Old Faithful little heart stickers that I got from eBay, just using some of the green ones again, because as you can see, I never use green, so I need to get the green used. And then I use these tiny word stickers. I was so excited when I got this kit for tiny word stickers. I haven't had some really nice tiny word stickers with a gorgeous font in a while. Simple Stories makes some really beautiful tiny word stickers, and these ones are really awesome because there's different fonts in all of them, so it's kind of like different interest for each thing. So I'm just sticking a whole bunch of tiny word stickers down. You can't really see them here. They've sort of blended in a little bit, which is slightly annoying, and I thought that I would try something that I do in my project life, which is often journaling around the outside of a card, but this one, it's journaling around the outside of the layout, and I don't make you watch all of it, I cut it all out, but it's basically just talking about how much, just sort of a little story about how much, you know, he loves this toy and he likes to sleep on it even though he doesn't like to sleep with anything else. Something really cute, and I think it adds something different compared to my normal just borders that I do on layouts. I really liked doing this border around the outside. I think this would be really great if you had like a nice story to tell, and being someone who's not a big fan of journaling on layouts, this was a lot easier to do because, you know, you don't actually really notice it as words unless you're really paying attention to them when you flick through the album. So I think that's a really nice way to include some journaling. Here I am getting out all my beautiful wood veneer pieces, my Old Faithful wood veneer. I think if I was to say to anyone who started scrapbooking, what's the one thing you could get, I would say wood veneer, because I've had these since I started scrapbooking and I haven't run out. I haven't actually bought any extra hearts or stars or anything. So they're definitely something that I would include if you're just starting out in scrapbooking. I do think I grab a couple more words here and then I call the layout done. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a while since I've filmed one. Thank you for watching. I have some close-up photos in the end for you. This was a really fun layout. I hope you enjoyed watching, and stay tuned for more layouts from this kit. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!